Hi, class. Today we're going to talk about exercise 14.2 in our textbook, our Murach's Python Programming Second Edition. And we are going to start working with classes, and we're going to um, improve a program, the movie list program from chapter 6 in our book. So you may already have some experience working with this program from an earlier class. If not, let's look through our code and run our program before we start making changes to it so we understand what it is that we're working with. Okay, so I have the main.py. So this is just the main.py. I added the objects.py module because that's one of the steps that we have to do for this. And I'm using this as your starting file. So we'll go ahead and run this. And the first thing that I like to do is I like to add a title to this movie list because I don't like that there isn't one. But anyway, we basically have a uh, text-based menu here, and we have four options. The first one is list, and these are the three movies that are populated in our list when we start the program. And these are stored in a Python list data structure. We will be updating that to become a class. And then if we wanted to add a movie, we could type add, and let's do Deadpool and Wolverine 2024. And then if we type list again, you will see the movie we just added. And then we can delete a movie. We would need to delete the number of the list item. So why don't we go ahead and delete number 2 on the waterfront. And then if we list again, you will see that now we have only 3 items again with the one that we deleted. Um, this program does not, it's not perpetual data, so this won't be the changes that we make as soon as I reload this program will go away, and we will start back with our original 3 movies. So let's go ahead and exit, and that is the entire program. If we take a look at the code, I'll zoom in a little bit here. So we take a look at the code, and down here in the main section, we have our movie list with those 3 movies in list format. So this is a list of lists. We call the display menu function, which is our command menu. And then we have a while true loop for our commands. And then depending on what they type in, we will call functions. We're passing that movie list to everything as we go. If we choose exit, then we will break out of that while true loop, and then we will go to the print by statement. If we type anything that does not match these items, we'll just get the message that that wasn't a valid command and try again. So we do have some validation built in here. And then if we take a look at the other items, so these are our 3 functions. We've got the list, movie list. So if there's nothing, if the length of the movie list is 0, we'll print out there are no movies in the list. Um, if the length is greater than 0, then we're going to go ahead and start with number 1 of our list and continue to we'll print out number 1. So our lists will start with position 0, but that start 1 is for printing out that 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we will print row 0. Row 0 is associated with the title of the movie, and then row 1 is associated with the year. We're putting that inside parentheses. We'll just keep going through the list and printing everything until we come to the end of the list. And then we have our function for add, and we're just doing some very simple name, year inputs, and we're storing those as a string. Um, we're storing our inputs as a string, and then we're creating an item with our values, and then we're appending that list to the list of lists. And then we're printing out that the title of the movie was added. And then with delete, again, we're still passing that movie list. We are asking the user to input a number, and then we will go ahead and find that number and remove it, and then um, put that it was deleted. So that's what we have. Now we need to get started. So if you are looking at your textbook, this is page 411. We have completed the first 3 steps, which are open and test the program, review the code, note how it uses a list to store the data for each movie, run the code to make sure it works correctly. So we have done that. And then the next step is to define a movie object that can store the data for each movie. We need to add a module called objects to the program's folder. I've already added that. So this is where we will start writing our code for the movie object. So in this case, we will go ahead and use the Python decorator data class. And in order to use that, we have to import it. So from data classes, import data class. And let me zoom in a little bit so you can see that better. And then let's go ahead and define our movie. So we have that at symbol data class, and that will do a lot of the boilerplate work for us, like the init um, of the class. So we're going to say class movie. And remember, you want that to be a capital M, and then name, string str equals nothing. We're just going to leave that empty. Year is going to be an integer, and we'll just go ahead and set that to something. Then let's create a getter. And we're going to return f self.name, and then our parentheses, and self.year, end parentheses, end quotes. And that should be it for our class. It's very simple. We only have two items. So we're not, all this is doing is it's basically making a list with our name and year in, and setting it to nothing. We'll go ahead and be updating those values when we call this. Okay, so as of right now, I don't have anything to test yet. I can't really test that. And we will go back to our main.py program, and we will add a statement that imports the movie class. So let's do a couple things. So first, make sure to add your name up here and today's date. And I already have the lab activity. Okay. So add a statement that imports the movie class. So the very first thing we want to do up here at the top is say from objects import movie. All right, and then what we're going to do is we'll come down to the main section here, and instead of having our movie list as a list of lists, we're going to make them all a movie object. And so all we're going to do here is we're just going to make this look slightly different. So I'm going to save that first brace and then do capital M. And then I'm going to get that Monty Python and the Holy Grail, 1975. And then I am going to have a comma and do the same thing down here. Movie. And I'm going to get rid of that. Then one more. Movie. Gotta watch your syntax here. But it should look something along this line. Just clean that up a little bit. All right, so every time we are referencing movie, it should go out and create a new object um, with that title and year that we're passing it. So let's go ahead. Well, let's see. I think I need to first update. It's kind of hard to test this because now we've kind of broken the data structure, so can't really test it until I fix everything. All right, so one of the things that I want to do is at the top of this, I'm going to say print the amazing movie program, just because I like having a title. And then that's just a blank line. Okay, so let's look at our list. So list, movie list, and we still are using a list. It's just a list of objects at this point. And so everything's going to look pretty similar, except down here, we're going to say for I, and then we're going to, instead of saying row, we're going to say movie, lowercase m, in enumerate. Movie list start equals 1. So that's all going to be the same. Print F of I with I, but then instead of this row 1, we're going to get rid of that and say curly brace movie dot get str. And so what we're going to do is we're basically calling our get str here instead of accessing that list inside of there, accessing the object. Okay, so I think that looks right. And then for add, we're not changing any of this around, but instead of this movie equals name year, we're gonna change that to capital movie and then name comma year past those. Movie list, append movie, that should be the same. And then print F, so instead of movie 0, we're going to say movie.name was added. And then deleting, same thing, we're still using that list, so we can continue to work with our number. And then this is still a valid line. The only thing that is gonna need to be changed is, again, this movie 0 is just gonna change to movie name was deleted. Okay, so let's see if this works. I'm gonna save mine, and then I'll go ahead and run this. So let's see. So much better. The amazing movie program. All right, so let's see if we can get these all to work. List. So far, so good. We've changed it. It's working behind the scenes. So let's add. So Deadpool and Wolverine, 2024. Deadpool and Wolverine was added. So let's list. There is Deadpool and Wolverine. The only thing I do notice, I have an extra parenthesis here. So let me go fix that. And then let's delete on the waterfront and then list again. And sure enough, okay, so let's see if we can figure out that is coming from our list. So right here, um, I have that extra parenthesis in here, and I think I need to remove that one. Okay, so make sure you go back and remove that additional parenthesis because I have a parenthesis now closing my print. Let's see if that works. Now remember, I just reset the program, so my Deadpool movie will not be there. Okay, that looks better. Then we'll add that Deadpool and Wolverine 2024, and then list, and then delete number one, list, and then exit. Okay, so there we go. We've got that working, and this week was all just about really understanding the concepts of classes, why we use classes, um, and kind of just getting our toes wet on working with classes. Over the next couple of weeks, we'll do even more work with that. So this was kind of like a big week of new concepts, and our lab activity was not that extensive, but we will be building um, our own programs here pretty soon. So that will be coming. All right. Thanks very much for your time. I hope this was helpful. Please have a great day and happy coding. Bye.